was late in December, the sky turned to snow. All around the day was going down slow. Night like a river beginning to flow. I felt the beat of my mind go drifting into
Time passages.
Yes, you're falling in the fading light.
Time passages.
Buy me a ticket on the last train home.
Time passages. Hi, Kathy. Early, I'll fool Facebook. They won't hear, so they won't mute me for playing my music because they're waiting until 6, right? Because they know I'm always here at 6 p.m. So at 5:59, I started that song. I might have outsmarted Facebook and YouTube. I slay me. All right. Back to the topic at hand. Today is July 6th in the year of our Lord, 2021. It is 6:01 p.m. where I'm at, Dallas, Texas. You may be in Austin, Texas, and I'm thinking it's 6:01, but I have no proof of that. You could be in Chicago, where it allegedly is 6:01. I have no proof of that. But Kathy, she's in Florida. It is definitely 7:01. All right. Welcome to my nightly podcast. It's called Law and Disorder. I'm your host, Ken Goldberg. Oh, it looks like I'm already blocked. Wow, they didn't waste any time at all. Whew. That's the quickest they've ever nailed me. That was quick. All right. So anyways, what I'm referring to, whether on YouTube or Facebook, I just got a Facebook warning. It says you're blocked unless you hit this button, which means taking responsibility for what you did. So I did that. I'm taking responsibility. So I assume I was able to resume and that y'all are still there. Well, actually, you're not still there because you weren't there to begin with. So it's kind of rough for you to try to be there. But Kathy's there. All right. Hello, Chris. How are you? I assume Becky's in close proximity. So hello, Becky. And hello, everybody, right? So today I was thinking, I was doing the topic. It wasn't really a topic, it's a title. My daughters were here they came by while I was out bicycling, picked up my oldest cat at my urging and took her to the vet. She's lost half her body weight in the last year or so. And I don't know if it's disease or old age. So they took her when they came back, and then I came in right after that. So we were looking at pictures of their Korean visit, and I, Becky, we're looking at the pictures of their Korean visit. They had a lot of pictures, and they did a cool thing. They project them onto my TV from their phone. That was cool. And then they wanted to leave, but I said, "Why don't you stay and have dinner?" So what they decided was no, but they went to get me dinner at the place they and I usually eat at. They're going to bring it back, which doesn't make any sense, but I agreed to it. I don't even know why I agreed to it. So they're out. They'll be back. I asked them to come in and say hello. Now, here's another phenomenon I'm not sure I understand. I have two screens up. Usually they're pretty identical, except that one, if you lift your left hand, it's in the right place, the correct place. If you do it on Facebook, it's in the wrong place. It's like a mirror or something. I don't know what they call that, where it's not a mirror. It's a reverse image. So tonight, the camera is picking up more on the YouTube than it is on Facebook. So I'm assuming they're using two different cameras. But I'm a digital moron, so I can't really explain it, but I think that's what's going on. There's a built-in camera, and one of them is using the built-in camera, and the other one's using the camcorder camera, I don't know. Anyways, it's plugged in through a USB. It's supposed to be a little higher quality, but frankly, I don't know that it is. I know, I just don't know. I'm just saying, I don't know. So I noticed we're losing a lot of popularity in the Arbitron rating. If Nielsen were checking it out, they would notice that Law and Disorder has lost about 50% of its audience. It may be what we're all experiencing, the end of the abnormal life that we had come to consider normal. In other words, people aren't using, they don't need connection this way. They're beginning to integrate into the local communities. Kathy's got a hard time with that. She lives alone in a state where she didn't know anybody to begin with. So Kathy's going to have a more challenging time reintegrating into a society she was never integrated in. Becky and Chris, you've been here forever and you know everybody and you've got a community. So, and Rose, she lives where she's always lived in Chicago. Mark and Ann, they've been in Austin a long time. So if they're missing, it may be that they've renewed their life in Austin. Yeah. And on and on and on. People are getting out more. Yeah, that's my thinking, Chris. It's not that people don't want to tune in, but people are getting out more. And as a result, I'm beginning to spend more time talking to myself. But there's my other Kathy friend. Hi, Kathy. And that's interesting because according to you all, there's more of you than Facebook is acknowledging. And that's kind of weird because that's making me feel hinky. It's like, well, according to Facebook, hardly anybody's here, but I just heard from a group of you, there's more of you on here than Facebook is telling me. So either you guys are coming and going and making yourselves look like there's more of you. I don't like it outside my bubble. Well, Kathy, you've never been a social butterfly, have you? I mean, there's Mark, and I assume Ann. So why is Facebook saying nobody's here? Anyways, back to Kathy. Your brother wasn't a social butterfly either, frankly. So maybe it's just a family thing. And there's Rachel. So it still says, I don't know about you guys. I've got an eye on my screen and it says how many people are watching. And it says 2. But, apparently, does it freaking matter, Ken? No, but I put on one of my nice shirts today and you can't see. Let me see here. Now, this was a nice shirt 30 years ago. I'm not sure it matters. Rachel says she's alone too. But I say this, Rachel, Kathy's really moved to Florida not too long before the pandemic and never really had time to get integrated. You've been in Scottsdale for about 15, 20 years, so I'm hoping you got some friends there. My fingers are crossed. Yeah, Mark, it says 2. Your eye says 9. Joan, all right. Well, Joan, you're back. Welcome. Welcome, Joan, Rachel, and Kathy, and everybody. Well, greetings, salutations. Mine still says 2, so I don't know what that's about, and I'm going to stop worrying about it. So this is a nest, right? Isn't it? I don't know if you know a nest when you see one. Gnat nest, okay? And I used to buy these when I had money because they were expensive. Nast shirts, I used to buy them at Nordstrom's, and they were expensive. And I could afford them back then. I've never thrown them out. I rarely wear them. I only have 2 left. I also used to buy Stubbs. I have 3 of those. I never wear those either. If you know anything about Nast and Stubbs, they were a premier line of men's shirts. I'm just not a premier wearer of shirts anymore. Chicago was awesome. Good. I hope when I get back, Joan, I can report the same thing. So if you were late to the show, I was playing Time Passages by Al Stewart. I think I put it in the music links. And I just decided at 5:59 looks like a bowling shirt. Yeah, I think they're fashioned after a bowling shirt. I agree with you, only nicer. So I was telling the audience that I didn't know whether they were here. At 5:59, I turned on Al Stewart, and I said, "I'm doing this so because by now, Facebook and YouTube probably don't expect me till 6. So if I play music from 5:59 to 6, they won't catch me." Tongue in cheek. Not only did they catch me, but almost immediately they offered to block me. I mean, it was quick. It's quicker than I've ever seen it operate. So that's what was happening. So let me get on with Come Closer, Get Away From Me. I chose that as the title for a reason. And the music doesn't have anything to do with the title. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But here's what I was thinking, and I don't know why I was thinking it. Okay? I was thinking it because so many relationships are characterized by that dynamic. You know, I used to be a therapist. I used to counsel people, mental health counselor. Can you believe that? Come on. You know goddamn well you're having a hard time swallowing that. Well, so I became a street worker in 1977. I self-declared me the executive director of an organization I formed called Locomotion. And as my primary employee, and initially my solitary employee, I went out and I worked with kids. Years later, I went to the YMCA, Southwest YMCA, where I worked with kids. I didn't have a bachelor's. And when they hired me, if I told you this story, just stop me. When they hired me, Bruce, the executive director, said, you know, this is how we, this is what we're looking for. You know, we know your reputation from working at Locomotion, because I announced to people I'm leaving, I'm looking for a job. And why I left is an interesting story. Anyways, so Bruce said, "Hey, why don't you come interview with me?" And we went to the thing, and he's getting ready to hire me. And their pay scale is based on education. And I don't even have a bachelor's degree. So he had to do something to get me my money because they didn't have a position for a counselor and a director who didn't have any education. As it is, once I got there, I enrolled at the University Without Walls at Chicago State University, which is ranked 14th out of 14 state universities in Illinois. In other words, it's at the bottom. I'm glad to hear that, Chris. I got more to say on that. So, I got through part of the program, and then, thank you, Ann. Yeah, Gouster, right? See, you got it, baby. Thank you. So, so I started on the University Without Walls, but I had that interrupted because after I left my job at Southwest YMCA, I went to work in my family's business. I got a cocaine habit. I went into treatment, and it interrupted my educational pursuit. So next, I went to work for the Tapestry Youth Organization as a counselor. You see the theme? Working with kids. And then I was at the job of being the counselor on the emotionally disturbed adolescent unit at Cook County Hospital. So the head of the unit met with me and offered me a job. She had been supervising me at Tapestry. She was a psychologist, and part of her job was whenever you had cases, she would come once a week and staff them with you, and you'd say, "I'm dealing with this kid, and I think there's this, and I think there's that." And she was a doctor of psychology, and then she'd strategize with you techniques and strategies to pursue with these kids. And one day she said, "Hey, I'm in charge of the brand new unit at Cook County Hospital, and I want you to come on board." So, we had this nice conversation. I'm like, "Yeah," she said, "I'm going to pay you more money, So I'm all good to go. And then she's like, "I just need proof of your master's degree." I don't even have a bachelor's at this point. And I said, I don't have a master's degree. So I didn't get that job. So I went back to school to get my bachelor's. I figured, how many other opportunities will I blow? Anyways, I eventually got my bachelor's, and then I was hired at Hyde Park Hospital. For those of you from the South Side, that's the former Illinois Central Hospital on 57th and Stony Island. And my job was therapist, which I thought was funny because I just barely had an education. I had my badge said I was a therapist, and they allowed me to therapize. And then, as some of you know, I worked at various hospitals over periods of time until I got my law degree. All right, so why was I talking about being a counselor? Oh, I was saying to you that I'm actually been in a position to note the come closer, get away from me. Right? And it seems to be something that afflicts, and I'll say it's an affliction to some degree, couples, right? Now, I'm not talking about couples that are like in long-term relationships. I'm not referring to the Chris and Becky or Ann and Mark kind of relationship. I'm talking about, people that are in the early stages of romance, and you're like, well, one minute she wants to do stuff. Next minute, I feel like she's pushing me away. Or, we've been seeing each other for a year or two, and I feel this push-pull. It's very real. It's very real. People have mixed feelings, ambiguous feelings. And so when they embark on romantic relationships, that's where all this frustration and ambiguity about what do I want? What am I looking for? What am I getting? Am I getting what I want? Did I really want what I'm asking for? So with all this ambiguity, people are oftentimes saying, come a little bit closer. I'm all alone. And the night is so, and then, get out of here. Get your clothes and get out, right? I find an interesting dynamic because people that are in those embryonic stages of relationship, those early stages, they really do believe in their heart of hearts that they want to be in a relationship, right? And as a result, they embarked on it. They met somebody, they went out and had drinks, they had dinner, they went on a hike, whatever they did. And they're like, this is cool. And so they continued. They ask each other out. They spend the night together. They maybe take a road trip together. It's all going swell. Push away, right? All right, the other person backs away. Says, well, geez, Then the other person ropes them back in, right? And so this can go on a long time until one or the other decides that, they come up with a strategy to stop it, somehow a psychological strategy that stops that kind of stuff. Or in the alternative, they get out because they realize this is crazy, right? It's like pinball. I'm sitting there and the ball's going bang, 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 and you're like, oh my God, I can't do this in a romantic relationship. So it's an interesting dynamic that is so prevalent. I don't know that is American society, for instance, different than other societies. Boy, I didn't shave, and you could tell. I was just reading about communist China. There's this article I was reading, and it talked about the 60s, the hippie thing, and how there was this embracing of Chairman Mao. The communist Mao, communism under Mao, Chairman Mao, and people were selling the sayings of Chairman Mao, the Red Book, whatever. And there was, there's a real embrace of the notion of communism, right? Not if it's going to be where I can hear you. Yeah, go ahead, close my door. But the girls are coming back and they're going to open it again. Yeah, they went to get me some dinner.
Allison?
Yeah.
They're here?
Well, they were. They went to get me dinner. Oh, I'm sorry. He wants to vacuum, and of course, that would be awkward, him vacuuming in the background. So, and I don't have an answer. I'm just, that I'm doing what I usually do, which is just kind of putting out some energy, intellectual energy, emotional energy. I have been in those relationships. I've been the person that pulled. I've been the one getting pulled and pushed. I've done them both. I mean, I've been on both sides. Sometimes I've left because I realized this is not going to stop. I'm doing what I can. I'm trying to make this work. It's not working. Or in the alternative, um, I maybe I try a little harder, or maybe I'm the one that's pushing away, and I'm going, well, I don't really want to be in this relationship, so I get out. But when I see it going on, and if I see it in me, I note it. I'm always alarmed, so to speak, by it. I feel like, oh, this isn't cool. This isn't comfortable, right? For anybody. It's not comfortable for either person. Today, my daughters, I told you they were broadcasting photographs on my TV screen. I have a big TV. And they had a bunch of pictures. And then they looked at my picture book. So they were looking at some pictures and they went to their mother's Facebook. Now, I blocked their mother since the day we got divorced. I have no interaction with their mom. And so they're pulling up her photos, looking for a photo that we were discussing that they thought she would have. Because they were pulling up all these photos that they had on Facebook that I didn't have when I made my book. And I'm like, oh man, I would have included those cute photos of my daughters in the book, but I didn't have them. Well, they're on either their Facebook or their mom's. So if I want them, like they said, you're going to have to unblock mom. Then you can go in and look at these pictures. I pretty much purged their mother in the main, not complete. It was impossible to completely purge her, but I purged a lot of photos that she was in. I don't do that. I'm not like a spiteful, I'm going to, you broke up with me, I'm getting rid of you. But the couple of times I've had a breakup that was uncomfortable, difficult, then yeah, I have to do that. And so I did it. And now I got to go back in because I really want these pictures of my daughters when they were young. And I just don't have anywhere. So I'm going to have to go in. But, there's a relationship that I never really resolved, right? I embraced the relationship like this. And it wasn't so much push-pull as you stay there, I'm going to stay here, and we're going to put the girls in the middle because I wanted the girls to be safe and protected, right? But as the years went by, I stopped doing that. I lowered my hand slowly and kind of fell in love with my wife. She wasn't my wife. And then asked her to marry me after 13 years, and 2 years later, we were done. She had gone off and done her own thing, so to speak, and I was like, okay, that's really uncomfortable that you're doing that. We talked about her getting counseling, us getting counseling, and whatever. We tried a bunch of things, nothing worked. So we don't have anything to do with each other now. But I guess I'm going to go through her Facebook photos and then my oldest, Alex, I'm looking at these pictures of her in Korea, and she's beginning to look exactly like her mother, the eyes. And so she was wearing a mask because in Korea, they wore masks a lot. They're not stupid in Korea. They're still wearing masks, right? We think the pandemic is over. They know the pandemic's not over. So there's picture after picture of my daughter with her friends, my daughters with their friends, wearing their masks. And so you could see my daughter, you can see my daughter like this. And you know how when you're looking at your photos, they're small, right? Until you touch it and it blows up. And I kept seeing the smaller ones before she did it. And I thought, man, there's her mom again. And it never was. It was her. She's beginning to look like her mom. But her mom was a beautiful looking lady. So there's not a lot of problems with that, as long as she doesn't act like her mom. Communist hippie gousters coming soon. Or as Gary Corse used to say, cannibalistic sniper cows coming to get Gary. We were out in the desert. We were hiking. We were going back and forth to California with mescaline. and we stopped to sunbathe in the desert one time, and there was a cow walking through the desert, maybe more than one cow. You remind me when you say communist hippie gousters, but there was quite a few of those. Yeah, and Gary said, "Oh, look, cannibalistic sniper cow," and I never got that out of my head. 50 years later, I can't get cannibalistic sniper cows out of my head. I hope I can get communist hippie gousters out if I need to. So, I told you all at one other time that I thought I was a hippie, and that Gary argued with me. I had this discussion with you. That Gary said, no, hippies didn't carry guns and they didn't burglarize. And, you were a thug who hung out with hippies. And of course, we were, in the 60s, we were all, Viva la Raza, and, the communist is the way to live. And then me, totally want to be a gouster, right? I totally want to be, the rough, tough cream puff. So I completely would have embraced the communist hippie gouster label at one time. I don't know about coming soon. It might have been here, Mark, and gone. Chris says it's spooky to see his brother in a mask because he looks like his dad. It's in the eyes. Interesting you say that, Chris. So I said to my daughter, "My God, you look just like your mother." And her sister says we had this conversation with her mom, my ex-wife, just last week. She was saying to her, "Where did you get those big eyes?" They guess they were looking at photos, and they looked at her and said, "From you." She didn't see her eyes in her daughter, but everybody else sees it. I was kind of a hippie, I think so, and kind of a not so much a hippie, thug hippie. What's that T-shirt? I'm part hippie, part thug, or part hood, part hippie. You sent me it was you that sent me the T-shirt. So back to my original premise. We and I was thinking about relationships for people who are in long-term relationships. My sister just celebrated, I forget, 50 something years, maybe 57 years of being together, 54 years of being married to my brother-in-law, who's like a brother to me after all these years, of course, right? And I wrote on her Facebook, she said, "Oh, here's a picture of her husband and my life partner. I would never give him up." And I wrote, you're rubbing it in that you're the only one socially successful. And she thought I was talking about her wide array of friends. And I said, no, actually, what I was referring to is you're the only one in the family that's ever embarked on a relationship of that nature that endured. So I got married 3 times and divorced. My brother's had no relationships in the last 45 years because he's got his own thing. He's just not, he doesn't do relationships. He doesn't even do relationships with his family. And then my oldest sister's on her second marriage, and I guess it's an enduring relationship. But if you ever see my sister and brother-in-law, my older sister and brother-in-law interact, you're like, that is not, I would not, no, never, not want to be in that relationship from either side. Never, not. So that if she was with her husband 80 years, you'd still go, yeah, that's the only thing impressive about that is that you didn't kill each other already. Okay. So here we are. My sister's demonstrated that she has this ability to be in a relationship, but I haven't demonstrated that ability in a relationship with a member of the opposite sex. Obviously, I have many old friends. My oldest friends go back to freshman, sophomore year of high school. That would be 65, 66. Okay, so that's a long time. I knew Gary Corsi over 50 years, and Marv and Kerry. So I can handle friendships for how many times can you say for? First off, the word is for. Okay, learn to pronounce English, Ken. Okay, it's for, it's not fur. And um, and then while I'm chastising myself for not even being able to pronounce the word for and not to be able to get the next word out, while I'm doing that, I forgot what the freaking sentence was that I was trying to finish before I got hung up on fur. So I'm going to just swing right past that. Gee, many crickets. I am here to say, I declare that getting old is getting old. Okay. So, I, when it comes to romance, by the way, I have made a decision romantically. I may have already told you. I don't know. I withdrew from all endeavors at romance. I withdrew from Match. I withdrew from OkCupid. I've told my friends I'm no longer really interested. Now, if something happens organically, that'd be great. But I no longer have the energy left over anymore to expend on trying to meet somebody who meets my requirements. My requirements are fairly stringent, and there's not many people can meet them. I don't want to do everything alone. I need somebody who's at least as fit as me, if not fitter. Okay. Now, I just rode an average of 50 miles a day for the last 3 days. Today I rode 47 miles, right? Yesterday I rode 60 something, day before I rode 50 something. Now, some of you I know may be under the illusion, well, he's got an electric bike. So if I'm out there for 5 hours bicycling, I'm pedaling for 5 hours. And those of you that know anything about anything, you know that if you're going to pedal a bicycle in the heat and the humidity for 5 hours, you got to be in shape. And I'm sorry for those persons who come into my life and want to, engage with me at a romantic level, but they don't have the lungs, they don't have the legs, they don't have the fitness level. And I don't know what to say to that, because there's no point in me getting into a relationship with a member of the opposite sex unless we're going to be a shared interest and be able to do stuff. Like when I travel, man, I'll wear your ass out. Okay? I'll wear your ass out. You travel with me, you can ask any of my exes, okay? When I truly travel, like to Europe or Thailand or something, I'm a walking mother, okay? I mean, I will walk 10 miles a day. I have an aversion to cabs. I have an aversion, not as big an aversion to trains, but if you're in a foreign country, you don't speak the language, for those of you that have done this, you get on the French metro, and the signs are all in French, and you're trying to figure out where your stop is. It's very intimidating. I don't like it. So I would rather just walk and walk. By the way, if you're ever in Paris, for instance, and you're walking around and you want to go to a museum, I'm going to tell you this. When I walked Paris, or I walked Oxford, or I walked London, or I walked Cambridge, or I walked Rome, I'm going to tell you, the whole freaking country looked like a museum to me. Every street. I mean, because the buildings existed, the founding of America, right? You got buildings that in 1492 were already sitting there 100 years or more, right? So you walk around, you're like, this is a living, breathing museum. You can go to a museum, that's fine and dandy. But I'm like, you know what's cheaper? Walking. You know what's more expansive and extensive? Walking. So I'm a pain in the ass to travel with. As those who have lived with me and traveled with me, i.e. my second wife, Lori, or my first wife, Sally, and I don't know, maybe Rachel would say that same thing too, my third wife. Doesn't matter. What I'm putting out there is that if we're going to engage with each other, you got to have some shared interest. For God's sakes, you got to be in shape. You got to wanna. What do you got to wanna? You got to wanna hike and bike. You got to wanna spend hours in museums and whatnot. Otherwise, what is the point in pursuing it? So I backed away. So if you were thinking of going out with me lately, perish the thought. I'm not going out with anybody right now. I'm retreating. because I spent as much energy as a human being should spend on the concept of dating. It's, it got old, it got tiresome, and I felt okay with that. I mean, as soon as I made that decision, I knew it was okay, because here's what I recognized. I've been doing it for a couple of years. The only thing standing between me and enjoying the rest of it was me. I I am now, and have always been my worst enemy. So uh, when I am home, I'm working on computer, I'm reading the news, I'm watching TV. I get up in the morning, 6:30, 5 o'clock. I know I'm going to bicycle. So you know what? Excuse me a moment. Oh wow, that's very nice of you. I was really thinking of you guys when I ordered that. That's usually what we get, right?
Yeah.
Is that the meal?
Yes.
Why don't you take some of it? We got some African veggie combo from I think it's Ethiopia or Eritrea, and that's more. Yeah, look at how much that is. I can't possibly eat all that. Take some home, especially the stuff I don't like.
Leftovers.
Huh?
Leftovers.
That's leftovers?
You can have leftovers.
Yeah,
It's
well,
not that much. It's like 2 meals.
how come we always split that? And now I'm going to eat it by
Because when
myself.
they eat in the restaurant, they put it way bigger.
I don't think so.
And we always get that curry stuff too. Trust me, I think you can eat all this like 1 or 2 meals.
Well, when I was saying let's get it, I really meant the three of us.
Yeah.
Say hi.
Mm.
Come here, show me your eyes. I was just telling by your eyes. For those of you that know my ex-wife, those are her eyes. Yeah, spooky, isn't it? I know. Here I lost 8 pounds in 3 days, and look at me. One daughter,
The mini.
one Dairy Queen, huh?
The mini. They don't have the ice cream in Korea. They have Baskin Robbins, but it's like Korean iced. They have like melon flavor.
Well, I won't go into Dairy Queen. Tell them to say hi. Rich, you are your own worst enemy. Kathy, you've only been to London and Edinburgh. Well, that's a lot. Hi, girls, says Kathy. That's Gary's sister.
Hello. Hello.
Here, Stacy, say hello.
Oh.
Her eyes, not so much her mother. Not yet, anyways. Not as freaky. Okay? So, this woman, Rachel, she says she met you years ago. And she grew up in Hyde Park. She says, hi, Ken's daughter.
Hello.
They just got back from Korea. Oh, I said that already. This is the first time I've seen them in 3.5 months. I saw them before they left. We got pedicures together. Now they're back and causing trouble. But they took the cat. They took the cat to the vet and spent a whole bunch of money. Huh?
We have to splurge for a week and then we're detoxing the rest of the 3 months. But since we've been in Korea, there's a lot of food we missed and stuff.
So let me show you what they got me for dinner. I'm sorry, people on YouTube, you won't be able to see this because I'm using a different camera. All right? African, what do they call this bread? Injera bread, right? Okay.
Be a little more graceful than it.
It's kind of messy doing it this way. That is a veggie combo. Okay. What? Oh, for the people over there. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. That was smart. Yeah. Kids these days, they know more about digital communications than I do. That's a lot of injera bread. How about the fruit? You guys are good. You know, no wonder I missed him for over 3 months. And the cats missed him because I don't go to veterinarians anymore. I don't like it. I don't like the smell of the veterinarians. I don't like any of that. So Alex and Stacia are in charge of veterinarian care. So they had to come take her. Yeah. Enjera is E-N-G, no, E-N-J-E-R-A. Enjera bread. And it's like a sponge. It's got the texture of sponge. And what they do in African countries, huh?
Tastes like sourdough.
Tastes like sourdough, says Stacia. What you're supposed to do, they don't give you a fork and spoon or knife in a African setting. You take the injera bread and you dip it. You wrap it. You use the injera bread instead of utensils. That's a lot of carbs. So I usually land up cheating and getting a fork at some point. It's just the way I am. I'm carb averse because I'm trying to lose weight. So you leaving? Power to the people. All right. So when all right, never mind. That one's going in 2 weeks. Okay. Did somebody throw up over there? One of the cats?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, have fun, please.
Thanks. All right, guys.
Yeah.
Be safe. Drive safe. Now, I hate to eat in front of you, but if I don't, it will melt. So they know that in the old days, let me explain Dairy Queen. In the old days, whenever we hit the road, we would always stop at Dairy Queen's at least once a day, sometimes more. It was always part of a road trip. But I think Dairy Queen's gone downhill a lot, so we haven't done that in a long time. But there's a Dairy Queen in my neighborhood. I don't go to it anymore. I tried it twice. Sucks. All right. Why did Kitty have so much weight loss? We don't know, and I just paid for a battery of tests, Joan. Urine and blood tests. They're going to try to make a determination why so much weight loss. That's why I asked my daughter to come pick up the cat and take him to a vet. And then the other cat, of these three, another cat is going to go to a dental place. What's this dental place? Is it for cats or animals or what?
Animals.
Animals, all animals, huh?
It's called the vet house.
The vet house?
Yeah.
All right.
And they have a special
Specialty in dental, animal dentistry. All right. Take care. So, so she's going to take him and have his teethus cleaned or whatever, but we don't know. We don't know yet. This place does an evaluation for $33, and then they tell you what level, what stages of care your cat's mouth needs. It's very intimidating. Do they have the Prius back? No, they're using the older sister has a car, and I'm keeping the Prius. Thank you. But I will have my frozen yogurt, says Becky. That makes me want a Blizzard so bad, but I stick to my. Let's see. I plan on eating 31 flavors every day. Kathy's going to be staying in Chicago, about half a block from 31 flavors. Time for Meta. Okay, what else did I miss while I was chatting? We had breakfast for dinner. Rose said yummy. All right. Looks delicious. I think I saw everybody's stuff. I was distracted. So Rose loves ice cream. All right, so let's do some metta. It's 6:44. It's just enough time left over. But before we do, let's take another two, three. Last one, I promise. I mean, I really was the last one until we finish metta. Okay. I don't like talking my mouth full. Cookie. Did I tell you all? Yeah, I did. All right. Please bring your hands together before your hearts. Let's slow it down. Take a deep breath. Close the eyes. And let us send out goodwill to ourselves first and foremost, for we can't give away that which we do not have. May I be happy, healthy, free from harm, free from anger, anxiety, and fear. May this practice bring me to a place of greater peace and comfort. May my mother and father, wherever they may be, and all my living family members and all my friends, be happy, healthy, free from all harm, discovering a path that will guide them to greater peace and comfort. To those persons I harbor whatever ill will, yes, despite my years of practice, hardly a day goes by I can't generate a resentment. How about you? Let's send those people our goodwill, that they may be happy, healthy, free from all harm, living their lives in this moment in comfort, peace, and joy. And let us conclude by sending out our collective metta, our loving kindness to all living beings, wherever they may be, that they may be happy, healthy, free from harm, living their lives in safety, comfort, and peace. Satu, Satu, Satu. I'm riding my bicycle today, and I'm keenly aware of what we talked about yesterday. Do no harm. Do no harm. It's not easy, man. I mean, these bugs come out on the sidewalk that I'm bicycling on, and I'm going 11 miles an hour. It's not always easy to get around a worm or something, but I have to. I thought about it. You know, these squirrels, they're like always wanting to run out on the bike path, and you could have a calamitous ending trying to not hit a squirrel. I was looking down, and a squirrel ran under my bike yesterday. Freaked me out. I mean, I could have hit him. I did not hit him because I was trying not to hit him. I was distracted, and he ran out, and I saw him, and I looked, and it was a squirrel. I just, man, I wish I had some way, something that like a sound that would emit from my bike, that like they have those mouse things. Anyways, I'm digressing, and look what I have. We plan to see you tomorrow at the temple. Thank you. It's not easy to do no harm. You know, this bug rode on me, Anne. There was a bug on my sleeve. I was wearing long sleeves, and I saw this bug, and usually they go away after a while. You know, you're biking, and they fly off. He wasn't doing that. And on and on. So when I stopped for water, I was sitting there, and I thought, well, he needs to get off me. And so I tried to get him to go onto the picnic bench. And I heard his wing, a little teeny gnat. It was a gnat. And I heard his wing, and I saw him kind of limping, and I'm like, oh man, you know, here I am trying to just get him off me, and you know, gently instead of just going. And I think I heard him. I don't know. We didn't talk. I left him on the picnic bench finally. Anyways, I just agreed with Anne. The show is over. I'm just carrying on here, saying yes, it's not easy to do no harm to humans either. So anyways, you're all welcome. Thank you. Thank you, Mark and Ann and Chris and Becky and Rose and Rachel and the two Kathys and Kathy. Two Kathys, Joan and Rose, and anybody else that showed up but didn't check in, because according to my screen, none of you are here. None of you were ever here. You have plausible deniability. All right. Good night.